Hello, hello, Orchid. Welcome in. Yes, we are working on Detective Todesky today. As you can see, I haven't done anything on him since Monday's stream. But I've been working on Cozy Bob, so I feel no regrets. No regrets. But welcome, everyone. We are so lucky today in that we are going to be joined by Early. Yay, it's Early. Hello, Early. Let's bring Early up on the big. Early. Hello. All right. Well, actually today we are being joined by the lovely MoonPhased, who is a fellow streamer here on Twitch. Just doing a few last minute little touches. All right. Fellow streamer here on Twitch. And we got her into the cross-stitch cult last year. And she has actually started doing her own cross-stream stitch. Hi, Earls. Cross-stitch streams. So I am so happy that we are going to hang out together tonight. We're going to do some stitching together. We're going to chat about stitching, all kinds of good stuff. And Early is also here. Hey, Polly, welcome in. Hi, Vampaza. Yeah, you made it. Actually, we just got started, Vampaza, so you're right on time. Yay for no buggy Twitch. Yay. Oh, heck. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this, but she's loving aggressively on my mouse. She loves this mouse. I was trying to play a game earlier that's it's just clicking on stuff. I literally couldn't play it for about an hour because she was sleeping with her head on my mouse and I couldn't move her. So I couldn't play my game earlier because it was Early's pillow. Yeah. Is it early love time? Early love time. But anybody. Anyways, welcome in. Get comfy, grab something to work on. I see that Polly's working on a Lord of the Rings bookmark tonight. Very nice. I'm sure Orchid is either at work or working on some cross stitch or both. And Orchid says not allowed to move sleeping cat. Yep, exactly. And Toot is working on a beautiful Moth and Lily of the Valley piece. I'm very excited to see that come together. And I am working on Detective Todesky. So as always, you can find out what I'm working on any given night by using the command in Twitch chat !project. You can also find out who's on the critter cam with Early. Early said you guys don't get to see Moon. Okay, there we go. You can also see who's on the critter cam with the command !critter. And those will work during any stream. There we go. All right, Early has settled. You can see her fluff right here. That's Early fluff. So she's settled. Oh, no, don't settle on the escape button, baby. You might actually exit something. Okay, there we go. There we go. And yes, tonight's friend on Critter Cam is MoonPhased. Like I said, we're going to be joined by Moon very shortly. She's just warming up, talking to her community, and then we're going to jump on a call and chat together about cross-stitch, about gaming, about basically everything. So MoonPhased is a streamer here on Twitch, a very good friend of mine. and just gave me a shout out, completely distracting me. Squirrel. But yes, she usually plays games on stream, but since we've gotten her into cross stitch, she has expanded to doing her own stitchy streams. So if you are a fan of just really cozy, chill vibes, then Moon is definitely someone to check out. Even when she is playing games that are known for being very competitive, or even a little bit toxic, she makes them a really cozy, inviting, easy to watch, really great experience. Every time I spend an evening with her watching Valorant, I am just totally chill. It's great stitching time. So yeah, definitely check out Moon. She is on YouTube as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, she's also on YouTube. It's __ MoonPhased. And she's also, but she mainly streams on Twitch. If you go to the YouTube, you'll mostly get shorts, but you will get to see her adorable kitten uners. And I should have pulled up Moon's YouTube link. I did not think of that. I also probably should have started a stitch so I know where I'm supposed to be going, but I didn't do that either. Like I said, I've been mainly working on Cozy Bob since Monday's stream. He's almost finished. I can show you guys. I switched him and Todeski. So before that, I'm just going to mute for a second and we are going to hop on a call with Moon and get her in. So hang on one second.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me, Moon? No, of course you can't. Hang on one second. No, I wasn't muted. I had the wrong microphone on.
Ah, yes, that tracks. Can you quickly talk again just so I can see your volume?
Yeah, for sure. How is that sounding for you? You might need to Twitch it, adjust it a little bit. I have some pretty heavy duty filters going on. And
I've got you.
And everyone over on my side, let me know if you can hear Moon okay with the Spirit City going on in the background. I'm also popping a little bit.
Aspen says hi, DH.
Ooh, okay. Hello, Aspen. Hello. All right. So I just bumped up Moon's volume a little bit. Moon, if you could say something for my lovely folks in chat when you have a second.
Yes, I am testing your microphone levels.
I am testing your microphone. I think I need to bump you up a little bit more. We're totally professional streamers.
We totally rehearsed this before.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We totally
don't have ADHD. We totally plan everything ahead of time.
All right. Let's see. Maybe if I turn down this volume.
Da-da-da. Tonk says, Hey, Queen made their own sound checks during their performance. Muy professional.
Yeah, that's very true.
I didn't know that, so.
That's what he's really famous for the Ayo.
Ah, that makes sense. I had no idea.
Yeah, that was them doing sound checks. I also feel like I'm now super loud. Oh dear. All right.
I put my microphone arm, not microphone, sorry. My cross stitch stand back, and I forgot to feed Yuna some treats. I'm doing an illegal action.
Dun, dun, dun.
Come in now.
So yes, I do have.
I think that your kitties are gonna be jealous.
Oh no. Yeah, I still haven't restocked my my drawer treats, so we have no. I have no treats here for them. Just yet. I need to restock. But yes, everyone who is watching on my stream, let's see. There you go. You can see what's going on over on Moonstream. So we are just hanging out. She's given Yuna some treats. Yuna is her beautiful dilute tortoise. And yeah.
Yeah, she's not a cat, she's a tortoise.
Did I say tortoise?
And what pet
dilute.
do you have on Critter Camp tonight?
I meant dilute tortoise. Dilute tortoise shell. There we go.
Yuna is a tortoise, yes.
Well, I do have a Critter Cam message. Tonight's Critter Cam is MoonPhased. Her natural habitat is Quebec. And her diet is mainly composed of coffee, ice cream, and poutine.
That is so accurate. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh no, what has...
It quoted it in my chat too.
Amazing. Oh, I broke something. I don't know what I broke. I broke something.
What did you break?
I don't know. There we go. Okay. I unbroke it. Yeah, we're total professionals, guys. But no, we were really happy we were able to stream for you and just hang out and do some cross stitching. This is basically what Moon and I do most days anyways. Although Moon, I feel like we haven't talked for a few days, which is ridiculous because like we literally DM each other every hour.
Yeah, we spent many days on voice chat, and then yesterday and today I was just swallowed by the Valorant demon.
Yeah, the parasite.
Which explains the no voice chat.
The parasites in your brain.
Did any cross stitching yesterday and today. I've just been playing some video games.
Well, I think maybe you finished Deadly
I know
Aquarium.
that you've been working on a lot of cross stitch yesterday and today.
Okay. I feel like maybe you finished Deadly Aquarium and just went, nah, I'm done. Break time. I can do other hyper focuses now. Early has figured out how to mute my mic. I was talking to Moon and she did not realize it. Early targeted, moved her head, hit only the key that would mute my mic in Discord.
That is incredible. And you should give her treats for that.
I wish. I will give her treats after stream.
What were you saying then?
I was saying it's like you finished Deadly Aquarium and was just like, nah, I'm going to take a break now.
Exactly. Because I do have Deadly Aquarium to show you guys if you guys are interested. After Yuna has had her share of treats. But because I did finish that, DH finished it some days earlier than me.
Yeah.
And it's just both pieces are gorgeous.
I know.
I'm
it's
so excited
lovely.
for the. I'm so excited for the next clue.
Yes, it's dropping Friday, so in 2 days at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is our local time.
Yes.
So I'm going to be
I'm so excited.
a vibrating mess all morning.
Just waiting mode on the Deadly Aquarium clue.
I know, but at least like I know it's 2 p.m. It's not, at some point during the day. Stephen West.
Oh yeah, that would have been evil. Just like Monkey Man did for Stardew.
Oh God. I hope they don't
Evil.
pull a Monkey Man. Like the Stardew 1.6 update was hotly anticipated. And we knew what day it was coming out.
Yeah.
But he said that he was going to wake up, have a cup of coffee, and then it would go live. So, but that was all the information he gave. So people were like, okay, he's in PST. Let's say he wakes up at 8 a.m. It takes 15 minutes to make coffee.
People were trying to figure out their schedule.
Yep. Eric Barone, the creator of Stardew Valley, his handle is Concerned Ape, which is why we call him Monkey Man. So yes, I will not be showing you my Deadly Aquarium because I packed it up and I don't feel like getting it out.
That is very valid. I can show you guys. Oh, are you done, Yuna? Okay. Yeah, that means cross-stitch time for me. I mean, before that, we have to get the MoonPhased license vacuum out.
Yes. Oh, is it actually MoonPhased license now?
It is.
Is the sticker stuck upon?
I finally stuck the sticker on it today.
The real question is, did you call the LNS about the fabric frond Sealy?
You know me, of course I didn't. It requires a phone call, so it's gonna be put off until the very last minute.
Yeah. That's what I love about Heather from Stitchwit. Hashtag not spawn. Hashtag should be spawn. I can just email her and she's super responsive.
Yeah. That is very nice. I'm sure that if I could probably ask the person's email and get their email instead.
Yeah. I was trying to get in touch with the LNS that it's not the closest LNS to us. We're in Toronto. You would think that there would be an LNS is a local needlework shop. Like a local yarn store if you're in the knitting and crochet community. You would think that there would be an LNS relatively nearby. No. I have to go to literally a different city. There are 3 of them. I can go to the city north of us, or west of us, or east of us. But there's none in the city that I can get to.
That is so unlucky.
I know. So I was looking at one, and they had like all of their stock online, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna place I was thinking of placing an order for someone else to pick up, and I called them, and I was like, oh, I'm looking for this. I looked online and it says you have it, and she was like, shh, online doesn't mean anything. We don't keep that updated. And I'm like,
oh,
why?
That's great. Oh no.
Why?
Why would you not keep your online shop updated? That's no. So rude.
If you have an online shop, please keep it updated.
Indeed. Tonks said screams in it's 2024.
So, speaking of online shops, Toot has summoned the Etsy and Coffee bot on my channel to show off my Etsy and Coffee shop.
Yes, and I can use the DH command
on
mine because, and if Toot would be so inclined as to post the Ko-fi shop as well, because I don't have that link handy, which I should have, but,
I actually had a new pattern go live today. If you want
What was
to check that out, it's the in a sea of doozers be a Moki. It's the Fraggle Rock one.
Yes.
So that went live today for purchase. I have freebies up in the coffee shop. And I've got a couple more that are going to go up tomorrow if all goes well.
Tomorrow. Do we get a sneak peek or a hint as to what those would be?
I still need to polish a couple of the graphics, but I should be putting up the Valorant mini agents of Clove and Viper.
Okay, I'm so excited to see those. I mean, I've seen like them in production and everything, but I'm very excited to get around to stitching them. And having them in my hands.
I really like the Viper one. I actually don't know if I sent you the floss list for Viper.
I cannot remember. I'm not sure because I had the floss list for a few of them, but I think you designed Viper after. Titty says,
Yeah.
Viper, my beloved, my queen.
I think that's why I did Viper next, was I remembered Titty liked her. But she was actually very difficult to do, just because of the design of her costume. It's a lot of black. And you know my design style relies on contrast between different body parts because I don't do like backstitching or anything like that. So it's like, well, her arms are black and her body is also black and her hair is black and the middle of her body is black. So I'm pretty happy.
Black on black.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy
I remember
with how it came out.
Yeah. I remember seeing her. I'm not sure if it was the final design, but it was really nice, like how readable she is. And that's what I really like about DH is such a good designer. Exactly. That's what I was going to say, Orchid.
Thanks, Orchid.
That's what I really like about all of your designs. Like your minis that you do, they're so easily readable. You do a really good job at making the characters look like themselves while looking so cute and cross-stitchable.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I really enjoy making my little mini guys. And I'm trying to only do ones that are like actually fandoms that I'm a part of. So like putting some love into it. I know that sounds like a little bit, I don't know, soupy. I don't know, schmoopy. Schmoopy, I think was the word I was going for. But I definitely pretty much stick to designing things that I adore. Orchid asks, would you ever consider taking commissions for cross-stitch patterns? Or is it something you'd like to enjoy for yourself? I wouldn't take commissions. However, I do have a suggestion box. I posted the link this morning in the server. So if you do have an idea for a cross-stitch pattern that you'd like to see from me, then you can pop it in the suggestion box. If it's something I would like to, something that I feel like I would like to design and that I can do well, then I will. And if I do end up using your suggestion for a pattern, I would provide that pattern to the suggester for free. And I'll get in touch with them and arrange that and everything like that.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, so I've got that link up. It's in my Discord. It's going to be on every one of my videos. All that good stuff. Pink Stuff 01, hello, good morning. Well, good evening. Good evening for me. Good evening for Moon, too.
Yes, it is the evening. Good evening, Pink Stuff. But yes, before I forget again, because I had already forgotten, would you guys like to see my deadly aquarium?
Ooh, I would love to.
I've showed it on stream a bit yesterday, but I think this angle will do it a bit more justice than my usual hand cam. So, here we are. It is quite a big piece. Like, if you can see with my hands on it, it will fit like a big frame. And essentially this is a stitch along, so it's going to be released in parts over the next few months. And the first part that was released was the whole frame. So this is like, you know, an old-timey aquarium type of building. And yeah, it's gonna be like little creatures and bits of it that are gonna be released over the next few months. Let's see them seagulls and swanky sign again. Bet. So here we have Mr. Moderately Dangerous Seagull. We also have his two smaller buddies. Are they smaller? No, they're the same size. His two buddies at the top here. And then you also have the sign here, which is just very lovely. It's a nice touch. It has some nice backstitching in it. And then you also have, that was one of the creatures between quote marks in the first clue. So this is some eel grass as well. And then we just have a bit of water or what looks to be like rocks. And of course the whole like frame with the columns and everything.
If you're watching on my stream, there is a bit of a delay.
So that was like 6,000
we're watching
stitches
her live,
and we had a month
but she's
to
talking
do it.
to me liver.
So, or a month or 6 weeks, I can't remember.
It was 6 weeks, yeah.
6 weeks. So it was about 1,000 stitches a day per week.
Yep. And Pink Stuff 01 says it's looking so good.
Thank you.
I totally agree.
Tonk says backstitching with a crying emoji.
I was personally attacked by the amount of backstitching in those stupid seagulls.
Yeah,
I know
honestly,
now why they were moderately dangerous, because there was just way too much backstitching.
Indeed, I completely agree. The seagulls did not need to be backstitched, but the fact that there was backstitch, I didn't want to leave it unbackstitched just because the pattern called for it.
I know.
Tonk said I would pay someone else to do my backstitching for me. That's how much I can't stand doing it.
See, I would try that, but the only person I could pay would be Toot, and I think it would actually be the opposite, where I would be doing the backstitching for Toot.
Yeah. No, Toot definitely would not take money to backstitch, I don't think. She despises it as much as we do.
I know, and I gave her the, well, we're doing our matching Phasmo pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had decided that I'm going to do the sampler and she's going to do the guide, but the guide is a ton of backstitching because all the names of all the ghost types are backstitched and a bunch of the other text is backstitched. So we might be switching.
Choose that one, or yeah, I was gonna say, did Toot pick that one, or did you assign it to her?
I think it was picked, but I can't remember.
No, Toot, you did that to yourself.
And Toot says you can pay me and do my backstitching. It's all good. Okay, so I'm gonna pay Toot to do her backstitching.
That's what we call scamming.
No, that's what we call business. Smart business decisions. And Pink Stuff, thank you for using the Project Command. I am working on a Mama Witch piece. This is a new start. I started on Monday's stream. And I
was going to ask what you were stitching tonight, so...
Yes, I'm working on Detective Toadesky.
Perfect. Yes, the toad that Orchid loved so much.
I know. I was doing random wheel spins on Monday, and one of the options was to start the detective here, and Orchid would not stop spinning the wheel until I started working on the detective. It only took like, what, 3 wheel spins? All right, I was going to show you guys how far I got on Cozy Bob.
Oh yes, show us.
So I switched to frames. So the detective was in the 6-incher and Bob was in the big boy. So you can't really see very much of him, but his entire head and his hat is done. His coffee is done. His bones are done. The only
So you basically just have the filling to do in the sweater.
The only thing I have left
so
is to fill in the sweater. So, and I kind of deliberately did it that way. I did all the outlines of everything first, so that the last 3 colors I would have to do with just the last 4 colors were just filling. So yeah, that's all I have left to do. But that's all I have left to do. It's still like 450 stitches.
It's honestly, cross stitch can be so deceiving sometimes. It looks like a very small thing to stitch, and then you look at the stitch count and it's 500 stitches.
I know, right? But Cozy Bob is almost finished. I'm hoping to get him finished in the next couple of days, and the pattern will be released in my shop because it's one of my own.
Yes, I'm so excited to see it online.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. Personally, I'm working on Kawaii Baphomet by Wild Bluebells on Etsy. I started her or him or them, Baphomet, on the 24 hours of cross stitch stream, and I literally had, what is it? I had 20 stitches done on it because we were doing a wheel spin. So it was a new start, and I only got 20 stitches on it. And then the Deadly Aquarium kind of ate all of my stitching time. So I actually didn't have the chance to stitch on this again. But I'm really happy that I had time to pull it out tonight and for the rest of the week, probably before.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, before the next clue drops for Deadly Aquarium.
Yeah, I know, because we've got all of tomorrow to get through and then all of Friday morning to get through.
Yes.
It's like that package meme. So Kawaii Baphomet, that is by Wild Bluebell Patterns on Etsy, correct?
Yes, exactly. We are quite a fan of that Etsy designer as well. They have some very nice patterns.
Yes.
I actually have another one of theirs in my queue. If I can find my...
the one that Toot is working on is from them.
Let me show you guys again.
Ampaza taking a day off of Deadly Aquarium. You've been working on it daily since the 99th of forever. Yes, since the 9th. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's time for a break.
Yeah. I also have, you guys know I love anything that has to do with the moon, so obviously I had to pick up this pattern, which is called Winter Witch Moon, and it's just moon phases with some very pretty blue-toned foliage, and I have all the floss for it, I have the fabric for it, it's just in my queue, it's waiting. I also have Unseelie in my queue, which I look forward to starting so very much, but like DH hinted at earlier, that involves me calling the shop to know if they have the fabric for her, so
I know, and I will keep hectoring you about the fabric. I know you're very excited about it, but I also know how your brain works.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I could get hard this weekend.
Yeah.
But last time that I was supposed to get the fabric last week, and then I called, and the shop owner was telling me that her provider was on vacation, which illegal, first of all, but second of all, that's why I don't have it yet, and I'm not sure if she will even have it because it wasn't a certainty that the provider could provide it at this time. But I just need to know so that I can know to order elsewhere if they don't have it right now.
Yeah. Pink Stitch bought an old long stitch and cross stitching in instead. Oh, that sounds cool. I love vintage patterns and like bringing new life to them, especially like vintage knitting patterns. I adore, but we have a few vintage cross stitch patterns as well that I am quite fond of. So, Moon.
Yes.
I was going to tell on you. So Moon started cross stitching last year in, was it August or July?
July, I believe.
July, and was a monogamous stitcher until like 2 months ago.
It's your fault.
I know. She finally succumbed to my bad influence, and now has multiple whips on the go. And I'm over here shortening my evil chortle.
Yes. The thing is that it's not working out so well for me. Because I'm still monogamously going through my mini whips. Like, so I worked pretty much nonstop on Deadly Aquarium until it was done. And before that, I was working pretty much nonstop on Coffee Bob, even though I had other stuff going on. And I had a small finish in between under the form of Neon.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did Neon, that's the only thing I worked on as well. So it's just like a series. I'm a serial monogamist of project. It's hardly project polyamory over here.
A serial monogamist. I like that.
Yep.
You just like to start projects as well. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I am so not that. Like, I need to switch projects every couple of hours.
I couldn't. I don't think I could. Unless I was making like I think the thing for me is I like to have a project that I can work on without having to refer to the pattern. And then I like to have a project that I can do when I'm, working at PC.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, that's kind of like why I like having more than one. But beyond that, I think I prefer to see more progress on a singular piece.
Yeah. MoonPhased says that they were also a monogamous stitcher until they joined 2 stitch-alongs. Now they have 7 whips as of this month.
7! Oopsies. Hey, at least it's not like some very interesting floss tubers that have like 30 whips, because that's next level.
The founder of WhipGo, who has like 97 or something like that.
Oh my goodness, that's way too much. I would actually feel uncomfortable with that amount of whips. I mean, I already feel uncomfortable to some degrees with how like many whips I have plus my queue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. What do you think? Are you comfortable with your amount of whips?
I am and I'm not. Sometimes my amount of like hibernating whips is a little bit overwhelming, but at the same time, I really like everything that I'm working on, and I really like being able to switch between projects. So I don't think I've reached quite the uncomfortable number of whips threshold yet. Because I have, but I'm approaching it with large projects.
Mm-hmm. You do have quite a few sizable projects now.
That's the thing. Like I have Those Who Wait, which is enormous. And then I have Celtic Goddess, which is the next biggest one, which is also quite large. It's 18,000 stitches or something like that. And then Sora and Kairi, I still have 6,000 stitches to go on that, and I'm halfway done. So I have almost all of my whips are large. So I don't think I don't think I really want to start another huge project except the full coverage one that I'm gonna start when I get the Ada. Except for that one. I'm gonna start that one. But
yes, that's a good one to start. Because it's going to be, I don't know how much you're interested in stitching on it, but usually full coverage can be multi-year projects. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. Orchid says that they're a monogamous stitcher. Toot would perish with 7 whips. And MoonPhased says, I felt that. I have 2 Sals, 3 mini ones, 1 medium size, and 1 big one, which I put on hold. Yeah. Like, I like having multiple whips if they're multiple different whips, if that makes sense. Like,
I agree. I think that's what the point I was trying to make with like liking to have one that I can stitch away from PC with, and another one that like requires more pattern following.
Yeah.
I also think that when I have my full coverage, that will be like a different stitching process that, you know, I'll find interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, because you probably won't be able to stitch the way that you normally stitch. It's a different vibe. It's a different palette for you, that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I can completely understand having multiple whips with different feels. If I had like 37 Hades, I don't think I would do that.
What's an aid?
Hade, Heaven and Earth Designs, HAED.
Yeah, they're a full coverage designer.
Yeah. Pink Stuff says, I got 1 diamond art, 6 whips in crochet, and 2 cross stitch. That's not too bad.
A sensible collection as well. Tonk said 97 earlier when we were talking about the whip go person. 97 projects. That's like 1 stitch/whip per day. Yeah, I don't know how you would get any progress done on anything when you have such a large amount, because your attention would be so divided between projects.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I know some of my projects are going to be multi-year, but I also love all of my projects. I was filming the Cozy Cast today. If you don't watch the Cozy Cast, plug. It's a floss tube / knitting podcast that I put out on my YouTube channel every other week. I was filming it today, which meant I had to pull out all of my whips so I could like show off what I'm working on and how much progress I made. And I love them all. I just want to work on all of the things at all of the time, and it is not all of the practical.
I understand that so much. And Anna has a question for us.
Thank you, Orchid, for the hydrate.
She says, what do you do with all the finished pieces? Are your walls covered from floor to ceiling?
Yes.
Just yes. Personally, I haven't even finished a singular piece for myself. So I actually don't have any cross-stitch that I've made hung in my place. I have a piece that's displayed that was made by by Toot, sorry. And that's on my bookcase.
No.
But so far, I don't have anything else hung up. All of my finished projects are hibernating in, what's the word? Binder.
Yeah.
They're hibernating in a binder, in some plastic sheets. Waiting for me to actually finish them to hang them.
And I mean, honestly, we have a lot of whips that need to be, or finished pieces that need to be framed and hung. But yeah, I have a couple of pieces hanging on my altar. There's one hanging in the bedroom. I have one hanging in the kitchen. And we are planning, because Toot's been working on a bunch of moths of various sizes. We're planning on having an entire moth wall of cross-stitch pieces. But hanging them isn't the only thing you can do with cross-stitch. A lot of the smalls that Toot finished for me as samples for the shop, I turned some into scissor fobs, or you could do patches for clothes. You can do pin cushions and pillows, and you could even stitch things onto blankets. Like there's lots of options for what you can decorate with cross stitch, in addition to just straight hanging them up.
It says, adds to list of things to heckle Moon about. Hanging your shit. That is a very good point. I think for me, it's like finishing a project, like, because in cross stitch we say finish when we're done stitching something, but we say FFO or fully finish on an object when we make it, turn it into a displayable / hangable / usable work. So yeah, like fully finishing an object to me seems so intimidating because it feels like I haven't done it many times yet, and I'm so worried every time that I'm going to actually ruin the stitched piece. And
know,
it's so
I feel
irrational.
the same way.
Oh, you do?
I do, yeah. Especially there's one that Toot did that I did not do a good job of framing, but I managed to rescue it, and we're gonna reframe it. So I think it should be fine, but yeah, I have the same worries. But I mean, do what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I basically got the binder solution from a floss tube. I would like to credit them, but I don't remember. And they were talking about like, you know, fully finishing an object and how if you're a fast stitcher or if you have many whips or if you're just like so advanced in your stitching career, like you've done it for so many years, it's not always realistic to hang all of your pieces.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
They were like, because then it gives like, you know, like Anna was talking about, your walls are covered from floor to ceiling by cross stitch pieces, which is a look, TM, but you know, some people might not be into that. And
oh no,
they gave
pink stuff, I'm so sorry.
Idea of putting some projects that, you know, you stitched but you don't necessarily want to fully finish yet or ever in a binder in transparent plastic sheets, and then they're like, you know, protected, but you can show them to people when they come over if they're interested in your cross stitch, and they're displayed in their own way without being hung or anything.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Sorry, I was just checking my captions. That's a great idea for storage for smalls. I have I have those large mesh zipper bags that I keep ours in, which is the same idea, just different. Same idea, just different.
Different execution.
Yeah, different execution. But yeah, I actually went through our collection a little while ago, and I made a list of everything that needs to be fully finished and everything that is fully finished that needs to be hung up. And then I kind of, so that I would have like a jumping off point for making a plan. But yeah, I haven't actually gotten around to making a plan.
Yeah.
So
you've made a list. It's one step in.
Yep.
Turanetric says finishing is an entirely different skill set, and it is exhausting. And yes, I completely agree. The amount of videos that I watched on fully finishing objects, and I still don't feel competent at doing it. Is it's a thing.
There's a tutorial that I saw about that looked really nice and simple for finishing things in a hoop, which you basically loosely sew around the edge and then draw it in like a drawstring bag, and then you lay a piece of fabric over the back and stitch it to the outside of the Ada, and it looks really like super cute. So I think I'm gonna try that next time I do one in a hoop.
Yeah, I think you sent me that video because I remember seeing that technique. Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try that next time I have to do something in a hoop.
Turanetric says that it's that method that they use with hoops.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Pink Stuff had a terrible accident with their diamond art.
Oh no! What
Yeah,
happened?
they dropped the box and stuff got
Oh
mixed up.
no! Oh no, that's
The
terrible.
gems got mixed up. So we're
Sounds
sending the best organizing gem spoons to Pink Stuff. And
I
thank you,
hope
Orchid
that...
and Vampaza, for your moth wall support.
We approve. I also approve and support.
When we start populating the moth wall, you guys will be the first to see it.
Perfect.
Thank you for the hydrate too. And everybody else should also remember to hydrate. Also, we've been going for about an hour now, so everyone take a moment to stretch. Sit up straight, unshrimp your position. Stretch your arms.
Thank you very much
stretch
for
your
that.
legs.
Oh, I stretched my legs. Not my legs, my arms. Same things in many mammals, but not our mammals. And like, you know that muscle that's like attaching your shoulders to your chest?
Yes.
Oh, it pulled so hard.
In a good way?
Yes. It was a good stretch. I didn't realize I was so tense.
Yeah, see, you gotta get up and stretch. That's why I remind people to do it. Every stream you come to, after about an hour, I'm like, okay, it's stretch break time, guys.
Yes, the tralala toot. Definitely the tralala.
It was not the tralala.
Toot likes to rename all muscles in the human body, but specifically the labrum.
This is me shaking my head. SMH my head. Yes. Moon, you just cut off. Are you okay?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
I started reading a message on stream and muted after I said and.
Okay.
I apologize for the suspense.
No, it's all right. I thought that might have been what happened, but I was just slightly concerned. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch at the moment, so if I suddenly disappear, that's what happened.
Yes. Hopefully no disappearing will take place. And hopefully the weather is a bit lighter after that thunderstorm, because it has been disgusting.
Yep. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Pink Stuff. Welcome in, and I hope you enjoy. So you may have noticed that Moon and I actually stitch in opposite directions. We do our crosses in the opposite direction. Totally a personal preference thing. Some people also, they stitch left to right. Some people stitch right to left. Totally a personal preference thing. It's actually really funny because I learned to cross stitch when I was a kid. You know, just really basic, mostly the plastic canvas with yarn stuff. I learned to cross stitch when I was a kid, and then I relearned after I got married. Toot taught me. Toot also learned when they were a kid. And I got really into it for a few years, around 2013. And then I got really into it again around 2018, and then I got really into it again last year.
It's kind of cyclical for you, isn't it?
I'm like it, but I come back to feed every 5 years instead of every 27. And it's been really interesting because each time I've dropped in and dropped out of the cross-stitch community, so it's very abruptly, so I can kind of see the changes in the community. But it's also funny because I learned as a kid just from osmosis, and Toot learned as a kid also from osmosis, and then we got Moon into the cult.
Yeah, it's very funny because they were like, Moon, start cross-stitching, and I was like, okay, but how? And they were like, I don't know, watch YouTube.
you just do it, like you just cross stitch, like that's how you cross stitch. So Moon started watching all these YouTube videos and was asking us like, you stitch 2 over 1, and we're like, what? Have you ever railroaded? What? No, I stitched
do you do
the normal
English
way.
or Danish?
I don't know. I stitched the normal way. So it was really interesting because
Tonk said, I don't know, I came out of the womb cross-stitching.
pretty much. It was really interesting because Moon was doing all of this research and learning all of these different terms for things, and learning different ways and methods of cross-stitching. And so I think Moon actually, in a very short period of time, had more knowledge about cross-stitch than we did, or at least cross-stitch theory.
Because the skills were not matching the theory for a bit.
Yeah, she studied the theory quite extensively. And then yeah, we had to catch up with her. But it's really funny because
I did a good job at info dumping on you guys, I think.
Yeah. But it's really interesting because there are so many different ways of stitching and techniques and things that I didn't even realize were possibilities, like a loop start. I didn't realize that a loop start was A, possible, or B, a thing until Moon started sending me videos on it. And I was like, oh, looks pretty good.
Yes, I honestly could never go back to non-loop starts.
I do, because Toot uses a buried start, and we share floss. So if I have a length that's too short for a loop start, I do a buried start. So I'm glad that I know how to do it. I'm comfortable doing it. I just also prefer a loop start. However, the thing is, Toot uses a buried start. So if you're not familiar with the difference, basically with a loop start, you begin with one strand of floss that's twice the length that you actually want to work with, and then you fold it in half. Whereas a buried start, you start with 2 lengths of floss, the length that you want to work with. Now, Toot, she is very impatient.
Ungodly length of floss.
Yes. She's impatient and doesn't like changing floss, so uses really, really long floss. So her normal buried start length of floss is the same as my doubled over loop start length of floss.
That tracks.
Yeah, so it's actually quite convenient. Because Toot just said my wingspan is ridiculous. Yes, because the usual measurement is like do about an arm's length. Toot has really long arms. Which is really cool. But at the same time, she can put cookies on the high shelf where I can't reach them, so also unfair.
Tisk, illegal.
So we do share floss, but it's not as difficult because of because we use the same length of floss. I just use it doubled over and she uses it the full thing. The only thing is I have to be careful to leave an even number of threads.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's very true. Yeah. Tonks asks, wait, what's the English/Danish thing? New words. So, it's two different ways of traveling across the project to make your crosses. So the English method would be when you do a singular cross at a time. So for example, within the same square, you're going to go your first leg and your second leg, and then you're going to move over to the left square and do the same thing. Whereas the Danish is you would do a half stitch across the entire row, and then on your way back, do the second leg. I do a mix of both. Yes, I kind of do as well. Most of the time I do Danish, but if there's a singular stitch, or if the stitches are, for example, like in diagonals, I'll usually do English for those.
Yeah. Toot says, get on my level, shorties, and Tootism will rage. So you can kind of see on mine, I do Danish. So for this row, I did one leg of the stitches going this way, and I'm now working back. So you can see these 3 stitches I only have one leg of. That's because I haven't finished it. Pink Stuff asks, when you buy an old kit, can you change the colors? Absolutely, you can change the colors. The old kits usually used DMC floss, but it doesn't really matter if you're going to change the colors completely. But yeah, so because cross stitch patterns, they all have a legend and a key. So here, for example, is a cross stitch pattern. You can see that each symbol corresponds to a color. So all you have to do is decide which colors you want to swap out, make yourself a new legend, and the X's now stand for purple instead of blue or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a good point as well, because when you buy vintage kits, the floss is not always in good condition anymore.
Yes, that's very true.
So sometimes you may get a kit and the floss is 30 years old, and then, cotton is a natural fiber, so it's not exactly in good condition sometimes. So you can definitely replace the floss that a kit came with.
Great point, thank you. Moon says, Toot says, I do dot matrix unless there's frickin' confetti, in which case I rage and hunt and peck. Yeah. Yeah, I've compared the Danish style as being the world's slowest dot matrix printer, which I don't think any of our audience is old enough to get, but
I'm sure if you are.
Moon and Toot are now one. Just interchangeable.
We always were.
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions about cross-stitch, terminology, the things that we recommend, anything like that, we're happy to talk about it. You've got both of us, so you've got 2 different perspectives here. Moon still considers herself a new cross-stitcher, even though she's been doing it for a year. I would consider her an intermediate at this point.
Oh, thank you. I'm no longer a beginner.
No, I mean, you have a lot of experience actually physically stitching, and you have a large wealth of knowledge, and you're also not afraid to go find knowledge that you don't have. So I think that all adds up to more than beginner.
Thank you. I think that I will call myself an advanced cross-stitcher when I start doing, what is it called? Hardanger?
Hardanger?
That. When I start cutting holes in my cross-stitch fabric, then you can call me an advanced stitcher.
I don't think I'd ever do Hardanger. I don't have that kind of...
I don't think I will either.
I know. That kind of feels like my name is Toot and welcome to Jackass. Levels of crafting. Toot says that to your point that Moon and Toot have always been one. Truth, but it's a moot point.
That's a good pun. Tonks asks, thoughts on pre-gridding by hand or pre-gridded Ida?
I have never used either one. I have gridded by hand, but I didn't end up actually using the piece because I realized it was going to be too small for what I needed. It was a pain in the butt, but because I haven't actually used it, I don't know if it's worth it or not.
Yeah. I actually have no experience with either as well, so that's kind of like where both of our experiences fall short. But I purchased for DH a piece of a pre-gridded 18 count Ada by Zweigart. They call it Easy Grid, I think. And that is also what I'm going to get for my full coverage. Because I think that gridding fabric is like especially convenient for full coverage. Because I cannot imagine counting if you have to travel like 50 stitches every time to get another stitch in. Whereas if it's pre-gridded, then it's more doable. You can just be like, oh, this is 4 squares over plus 2.
Yeah. I feel
so
like
that's kind of why I wanted pre-gridded. And also I am bad at math and I don't trust myself with gridding fabric.
Yeah, that's the thing with gridding it by hand. I was sure I was going to mess it up. It was highly stressful the entire time I was gridding it. And then at the end, it was still kind of like, I don't know if I did this right or not. But I can see how using a pre-gridded fabric, like you said, would be really handy for full coverage. And also with full coverage, because it's covering fully,
Yes.
you wouldn't have to worry so much about the grid lines showing. I don't think I would use a gridded fabric for a partial coverage piece.
Yes, that's a very good point because I remember I watched a video that was talking about Zweigart Easy Grid and how the grid, the ink that is printed on the fabric is supposed to wash away. But there have been people with horror stories of basically the grid didn't fully wash away even after they let it soak and whatever. So, yeah, I think that Easy Grid fabric is definitely like useful, but I don't think that it's necessarily useful for all types of projects.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Orchid is asking what pre-gridded means, like the lines every 10 squares. Exactly. Yeah. It's essentially you have a piece of fabric and it can be, usually they do it for 14, 16, 18, and 20 count. I think that's what Zweigart does. And essentially all the squares are printed on the fabric so that you have 10 by 10 squares across the whole fabric. And then when you look at the pattern, you can more easily transpose the pattern onto the fabric without counting as much.
Because most patterns, again, I'm going to show you this pattern. They have a 10 by 10 grid marked out. So you would just align these thicker lines with the thicker lines on your fabric, and that would help you arrange things in space. MoonPhased says they do up to 32 count. Okay, that's good to know.
Oh, I didn't know either. That's really good to know. And Turinatrix says, I did some thread gridding on my most recent project. It was so exhausting, but I've made so few mistakes since I started stitching. That is another technique that I've actually seen where people use usually non-fabric thread, so that like it would be like a kind of like a tinsel type of
Fishing line I've heard used a lot too.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people use some Krynic as well because they're not essentially anything that you can't stab through, and that way you just grid the fabric like you would if you were using a pencil, but with thread. And that way, after you're done with it, you can just pull the threads out. So that's a technique that I've seen. But it's good to know that you tried it, and although it was exhausting to try it, you had good results with it essentially.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested, but like you said, it's a lot of work, and I don't know how worth it would be for me. If I'm going to do a piece that needs pre-gridding, it's probably going to be a large piece, and I'm probably just going to invest in the pre-gridded. Yeah, like it's not gonna. I'm not gonna heck around with gridding myself.
Yeah. Tonk says, I grid by hand, mostly out of necessity. For my huge full coverage whip, the gridding itself took a whole day.
Oh, God.
And they use heat disappearable gel pens. Yeah, I've used some
the
friction.
pen,
yeah, exactly. I love friction pens. Like, they're... I will not use any other pen in my daily life. Just friction pens. And I'm very happy. I was very happy to find out that they have their use in cross stitch as well. I also tried. You guys, I don't think you can see so much, but there's a dot here, and that's some washable fabric pen. And I'm not sure which one I like most, to be honest. Like, I probably would have to like stress test them to see if any of them like reappears or doesn't wash away properly. So I haven't had any issues with either yet. And Cauliflower says, I've used chalk and thread gridding, and thread gridding is so much more work. I can imagine, because you have to thread, then you have to like go under and above the fabric every 10. Yeah, no, I can only imagine how much work it is, really.
I've done kind of like cheaty thread gridding. If I'm trying to find the outside edge of a piece from the center, I'll just do like a really quick, like in, go up 10, out, go in, go out, so that I don't lose count if I'm doing like 50 or 60. But I haven't like left the thread in.
Yeah, and that's a kind of a technique that I've been curious about, and I would like to try for future projects, maybe if I need to do a lot of traveling, because you guys know moon math is a thing, and I cannot be trusted with counting.
Yes, we know moon math is a thing. DH math is also occasionally a thing, don't worry. I think DH math is less a thing than it would be if my dad wasn't an accountant and did math problems for fun when I was a kid growing up.
Ugh, ew.
Like, we'd be on road trips, right? And it would be like, Dad, when are we getting lunch? And he'd be like, well, we're stopping for lunch in Mount Tom. We just passed a sign saying that Mount Tom is 60 kilometers away, and we're currently traveling 100 kilometers per hour. So when are we going to have lunch?
This is where I would go. So how many kilometers away did you say we were? Because I forgot the beginning of the sentence already.
I know. Yeah. This was like my entire childhood.
Tonk says, I have the same dad. Aspen says Moon has her occasional moon reading moments as well. And that is true.
It's okay. We love the moon reading.
I have my moon speech as well. Because it's not even reading. I just mispronounce stuff because French. Because some words sometimes I never heard in real life. And sometimes the emphasis on words is just difficult in English and makes no sense.
Yeah, that's absolutely valid. English makes no sense. I'm really enjoying my cute little guy here. He's
adorable.
I've started more large projects. So what's a large project varies from person to person, obviously. For me, a large project used to be anything more than like 4,000 stitches. Now I'd say a large project is like 15,000 plus, whereas a medium project is like 6 to 10 ish, and then a small is like 2,000. So
yeah.
That's kind of like my goalpost at this point. This boy is 5,000, so he's like a medium small ish
Yeah. My perception of big and small has always been skewed because my second project was 11,000 stitches and I saw no problem with that somehow. So, and I thought that my ghost, which was my first project ever, was very small, but it was also like something like 5,000 stitches. So I was like, go big or go home.
Yeah, it does vary from person to person. And I mean, some of the full coverage pieces get up into the hundreds of thousands or millions of stitches even. So it really depends on what you're comfortable with. Like, how many stitches is on Sealy? Is it
87K.
87K. All right. So I was thinking it was like 112 for some reason. I had that number in my head.
No, yes. I was looking at more full coverage that had in the hundreds of thousands of stitches, and that was a bit too intimidating for me, so that's why I kind of went with Unseelie, on top of her being gorgeous, of course. But yeah. And Orchid says, I came across a huge thread about how bad friction pens are for cross stitch and fabric in general. And Tyrannotrix says, just don't heat erase your friction pen, then take your piece outside in the middle of winter. Yes. Yeah. And I remember Sarah 3 was in my chat at some point and was telling me that in their house, even, like the piece just being in their house, the friction pen would reappear because it is triggered by the heat difference. So I thought that friction pens, like once it was erased, it was just erased forever. But apparently, if you cool it back down, it will reappear.
Yes, it will.
Which is kind of bullshit.
Toot says that their large project was the hyena at 44K. A medium project is Tui at like 15,700. And then a small would be like the Pride Tees at 1,500 or so. So. Yeah,
that completely makes sense to me. I think anything under 10K is like medium to small.
Yeah.
Depending, because it always depends, right? Sometimes the stitching is so compact because it's a full coverage with some fabric free around it, and other times if it's like a big piece that's like got the design very spread out, I find that something that is more spread out and that has more colors would feel like a bigger piece than if it's like a mass of stitches with fewer colors. Because I feel like that would stitch faster and there would be less counting.
Yeah. Like the checked Todeski that I'm doing, it's not full coverage because it's like an oval shape, but within that oval, every stitch is covered. So it's quite a dense piece. So it's not physically large, but it's still 5,000 stitches. So yeah, I'd say this one, for me, it's still more of a medium. However, I am looking at some large full coverage pieces because I am who I am, and Moon is a terrible influence.
Excuse me, I started looking at them because you were looking at them. You're the one who started the whole full coverage thing with your Matthew Canadian painter person.
J.E.H. McDonald.
I had the M right. Why did I remember Matthew?
I don't know.
McDonald's.
Yeah. And, although honestly, the one that we can really blame is Crafty Gaming Jamie.
Yeah, you're right.
YouTube,
I forgot about that. That's the true problem.
Yep.
Because a few weeks ago now, we were watching a new video by them, and they posted they showed some charts that they bought, and one of them was Birth of Venus by Thread Geeks. The art is originally from Chrisabug, and I saw that design, and I sort of got my jaw dropped. I was like, I need it. She's gorgeous. Like, let me pull her up for you guys because she's just so pretty.
Yeah, she is. She is gorgeous.
And what I thought was so nice about the piece is just the expression on the character's face. Like, she actually looks badass. It's not like, you know, the Venus not the is it the Milo? I think so, by Botticelli, whatever.
The Birth of Venus is the painting you're thinking of. The Venus de Milo is the statue with no arms.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So the Birth of Venus, the painting, you know, she's very demure. Someone is rushing to cover her with garments. And this is like the complete opposite. She's like, I am here, bitches, and I'm coming out of the fucking water, and behold my presence. And I was like, that I can get behind that energy. Hell yeah. So I would love to do her at some point, and yeah, she's gorgeous. So yeah, that Jamie was talking about how she bought that chart. Mm-hmm. And then I started looking at all the other charts on Thread Geeks. And then I started looking at all the charts on Etsy. And then it was a very bad rabbit hole.
Vampaza says that Crafting Gaming Jamie made them want to do full coverage as well.
Oh my god. Can I put the link in the Discord? Absolutely, Vampaza. I will send it to you. Well.
And Toot says she's giving Aphrodite in the game Hades, which, yes, very true. Very, very true.
Yes, absolutely.
I would love to do some. I would love to see some cross-stitch pieces of the art from Hades, because that would be gorgeous. Although, honestly, for me, what got me onto the full coverage of the painting that I keep mentioning, I saw a place. So, two sources combined. One, blame Michelle May. She did a video on different cross-stitch programs that would convert a picture into a cross-stitch pattern for you, and like kind of which one was the best, and compared 10 different programs, and it was a very good video. And then later on, I saw a shop on Etsy which did miniature versions of famous paintings, including Sundays in the Park, by George Matisse. Is that the painter? I can't remember.
Maybe.
George someone. Anyway, and I love that painting. And it was like a little miniature version of it, which I still might do. So I was like, oh, that's really cool.
If it's a miniature, there's no harm, right?
I know. It's like the finished one on 18 count is like 3 inches by 2 inches or something.
Tiny.
It's so tiny. Yeah. Anyway, so I saw that and I was like, that's cool. And then I was thinking, like, I kind of want to try full coverage, and I was looking at different full coverage pieces, but I couldn't find one that I really loved. And then I decided that what I was going to do was convert my favorite painting into a cross-stitch pattern. So, well, first I went looking to see if there was already a conversion. There wasn't. So that's what I did. My favorite painting is Tangled Garden by the Group of 7 painter J.E.H. MacDonald. It's a gorgeous painting, and I managed to get a really nice conversion of it. I've started gathering the threads that I need. Moon purchased the pre-gridded Ada for me, so when I get that, I'm going to start, because I purchased the threads specifically so I could like start in the corner. So I'll need to buy more threads as I go. I think there's like 60 colors in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, and it'll
and
be.
if you don't have all of them, like it's a hefty amount to spend up front for full coverage.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, most full coverage are more than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's so pretty. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's I managed to get it looking really rich and vibrant, because a lot of times when you're converting pieces into cross-stitch patterns, they tend to look a little dull or muddied. But the conversion I didn't just plug it into a pattern and whatever popped out, I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. Like I did a lot of tweaking to it. So I'm really happy with that. But that's what I'm going to do for my first like real full coverage piece, is that Tangled Garden. It's going to be about 8 inches by 10 inches. So it's not, I I could have made the pattern bigger, but I deliberately didn't. Because again, it's going to be my first attempt. I didn't want to freak myself out. I made a mistake.
Oh no.
But
yeah, that's kind of why I went with Unseelie as well,
Mm-hmm.
given like the sizes that I was seeing online for other full coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like she was a good starting point and
oh yeah,
a bit more beginner friendly. Also, I missed a message earlier, but Callie was saying that earlier when we were talking about friction pens. I remember hearing a story about a quilter who sent their quilt to a contest and used friction pens, and it got cold enough in the airplane shipping for the pens to reappear, which, that's so tragic. I can only imagine how distraught the person must have felt.
Toot says, I once had an older sibling gift me a pattern that was just a picture printed on a grid.
Oh
no.
God.
Like, that's kind of why I don't want to do pre-printed cross-stitch projects, because I feel like it would just be a picture printed on a grid. Orchid says, is Early still there? No, she is not. She ran off. I don't know where she went. She's probably hanging out on her chair in the other room. However, we are about to get another special guest.
Who? Who are we getting?
It's Bella.
Bella.
Say hello to the peoples, Bella.
Hi, Bella. If you guys like kitties and snakes and all the beautiful animals, you should definitely give DH's channel a look because they have lots of them.
Yes.
They have Yuna, but they have 5 times Yuna, 3 times Noodles, 1 tortoise.
Yes. Although Yuna's apparently a tortoise now, so.
That's very true. I only have 1 tortoise.
Yeah. Toot has just handed me the tub of treats, so it's on.
It is on.
Pink Stuff says they only use pre-printed. Oh, cool.
That's really interesting because I can't remember the name of their channels for the life of me, but I do watch occasionally like a floss tuber who also pretty much only does pre-printed. They started off with needlepoint, so that was their like initial craft.
Yeah.
And needlepoint is most often pre-printed. So
it is, yes.
I think that's why they switched over to printed cross-stitch kits and stuff.
My mom did needlepoint all my entire life, basically. But she would only do it at like when we were on vacation. So it took her 10 years to finish one piece.
Do you remember what the piece was?
It was a flower.
Ah,
a couple of flowers.
Yes.
All right, Bella, you have to move and let the others get to you. Oh, okay. All right, and now we have Pico. Here's Pico.
Eco.
So Bella, that you just saw Tabby. Pico just bit me. Bella's the oldest. Pico is the second oldest. She is a female ginger tabby, which is quite rare, and Moon can tell you why.
Yes, I have a special talent in cat genetics.
Yeah.
And essentially it's because the orange gene...
It, baby. No more. All right, next
the
in
orange
line.
color in cats is a recessive trait. So there needs to be a an orange allele on every X chromosome for the color to express. So for males, their male cats have X and Y chromosomes. So you only need one orange gene for the color to get expressed. However, for a female who has two X chromosomes in cats, you typically need two orange genes on each X for the cat to show up as orange.
Mm-hmm.
They can carry the orange gene if they have only one, but then it would be the dominant color that would show up on the cat. So for example, if they have a black and orange genes, then the cat would be black, but could still have orange babies.
Okay.
Potentially. So about only 20% of orange cats are female.
That's always really interesting to me, and it is. It's such a well-known fact that we've had several people in the past try to tell us that Pico is a boy, because female gingers are just so rare. So you just got to see Bella, Pico, and Binks. Binks is our youngest. She was the black cat at the end, who was a little bit too dumb to eat treats.
You just wanted to be there because other kitties were there.
Yeah, she just wanted to be included.
Yep. Binks wants to be part of the party.
Yep.
But yeah, it's interesting because that type of recessive gene pattern that is like sex-based for cats is also what happens for color blindness in humans.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, people with like two X chromosomes need 2 times the color blindness gene to have the color blindness. Otherwise, they just carry it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Whereas people with XY chromosomes or other variations only need one of them, and that's why there are so many people that have XY chromosomes that are colorblind, whereas there are very few people who the opposite.
I didn't know that. Today I learned. Thank you. Also, is Toot harassing you with the hydrate as much as she's harassing me?
No, actually.
Okay, so
I've been getting
hydrate.
a reprieve from the... Well, now that you just summoned her. Of course you did. And thank you for the hydrate, too. But yeah, I had a reprieve from hydration tonight, somehow.
Never
The
a
last
reprieve
one
from
was-
hydration.
The last one was 50 minutes ago. Imagine.
No reprieve, no surrender, no retreat. But yeah, Pink Stuff, I'd be interested in seeing some of your printed kits, because I think they're becoming more uncommon. Although, Moon, you were saying that there were a bunch of them at the LNS when you went.
Yes. It's so interesting because it's not really kits. It's literally just like the printed Ada. Like
Okay.
there's just like piles and piles and piles of pre-printed Ada. And like on the side, some of them have the squares of colors with the DMC code, whereas some others, they just have the square of color, so you can actually pick your own color.
Interesting. I can definitely see the appeal of that, if it's well done and it isn't just a picture printed onto Ada and then it's like it's curving over stitches. You know what I mean? Like that someone's actually gone through and taken the time to make sure it aligns to a grid. And also I can definitely see the appeal of that for like going out and about if you were on vacation and wanted something to like stitch on the beach or stitch on the bus. I can definitely see that being easier than juggling a pattern.
Yeah, for sure. What I think where I think I would struggle with printed thing is if like there are many similar colors.
Yeah.
I feel like it would just kind of like get mixed up in my head which color is which and
Oh,
stuff.
definitely. Pink Stuff says you use good light. Yes, good light is key. Always.
Yeah.
The optometrist told me to make sure I was stitching in good light, and I was like, girl, I got you covered.
I tend not to turn on my cross stitch light very often. I only have like the tall one instead of like the one that curves over.
Mm-hmm.
I should do better.
Yes, you should.
Oops, I made a mistake.
As you guys can see, my cross stitch light is remote controlled by app. Thank you, Toot, for that demonstration.
I love that Toot was like, I'm overstimmed as fuck, and then went and fucked around with the lamp.
Oh. Anyways.
We love it. We love our Chaos Goblin.
We do. We adore the Chaos Goblin. We have the same... Toot and I have the same lamp that we also got Moon to buy. And it's the kind of reading lamp where there's like a lamp on top, but then a smaller like reading lamp that comes off the side that you can reposition. And the smaller reading lamp for both of ours is remote controlled by app. It's got a smart bulb in it that you can change the color temperature and brightness of it, which really helps because I find stitching in a whiter light rather than a warmer light often helps my eyes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm
not
not fancy like that, so I just have warm light bulbs in them, and I wonder if cool lighting would be better.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. I mean, we have our entire house hooked up to the same smart system because we are disabled and require help. But it's very good. Pink Stuff says, I always want to do counted, but I'm always off by one stitch. Yeah, that's always the danger. I am frequently off by one stitch.
Yeah. I think that cross stitch is really an exercise in letting go sometimes. Because like sometimes 200 stitches in, you'll notice that that section was off by one, and it's like, do I want to frog at least 2 hours of work? Or can I accept that it looks okay the way it is, even though there is a mistake in there?
Exactly, yeah. Toot's currently showing off warm lighting on my screen versus, I'm assuming, cool lighting in a second. Cold.
I'm looking because I'm curious.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. So you can definitely see a difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is so much difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see that I much prefer the cold for stitching. I find it a lot easier on my eyes and a lot easier to see stuff.
That's interesting. Maybe I could...
So Toot changed it back to warm.
Of course. But maybe I could get like a cool light bulb for the reading light one, because the big one I do prefer warm lighting. It's less harsh, but
I mean, honestly, we use Govee is the brand we use, and I think it's $22 for a 2-pack of light, and the bulbs last for a really long time.
That's good to know.
So yeah, I found it very helpful. The reason that we went with Govee is because they also do hydrometers. So the hydrometers, which is a device which measures temperature and humidity, we have one of those in each of the reptiles enclosures. They also do plugs and light bulbs, so we could do everything on the same system. So the reptiles are all controlled by the app. The light, both humans and reptiles, are controlled by the same app. And then we can also check their temperatures and humidity with the same app. So it's good.
Mm-hmm. Honk says about the mistakes in cross stitch. I find the question, will you remember the mistake in 5 years, to sometimes be helpful. Sometimes not, but they know that I will remember that I messed up, but not necessarily where. Which is a good point, because like, if it's for sure, if someone else is looking at it, they would never noticed, right?
Yeah.
The image looks the same, and they don't have the reference image anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to think about it for yourself as well. Like, when you don't have the pattern anymore in 5 years, will you really still remember you made a mistake there, or does it look perfectly fine?
Yeah.
And Tooth says that DH always says, if someone is close enough to point out a mistake, they're close enough to punch in the face.
Yes, that is my saying.
I like it.
All right, thanks, Stuff. Have a good night. Hi, Turner Tricks. Thank you for popping into chat just to say the reptiles are controlled by the app. Yeah, that's clearly what I meant. The reptiles themselves are controlled by the app.
App-controlled reptiles.
That'd be great.
And also, Anna in my chat says, needle art-wise, I would like to try Sashiko.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried Sashiko, DH?
I have not, but it looks really cool.
Yeah.
So I was talking in my Discord server about Sarithri, who you mentioned earlier, who's another content creator, designer. If you've ever seen the Stardew Valley cross-stitch book, she wrote it. Like, she literally wrote the book on Stardew Valley cross-stitch. She's doing a challenge in June about basically stretching ourselves and trying to learn a new craft using our existing floss stash. So she's put together a list of resources for, I think she's got like 30 plus different crafts you can try using embroidery floss, along with resources on how to learn them. And then the idea is kind of like throughout the month of June, we all just try something new. So I've been talking about it a little bit in my Discord, and I'm definitely going to try it because there's a couple of things I want to try. Like, I want to do some visible mending on my chair, because if you guys have seen some of the older episodes of the Cozy Cast, you might have noticed that there's a big hole in my chair that the cats have scratched. So I'd like to try visible mending on that. Maybe try some sashiko, which is a style of Japanese embroidery. There's some sewing and embroidery that I want to try on a sweater that I have. So yeah, if you're interested in that, the links are in my Discord. I can also post them in Moon's Discord as well, to Sarithri's posts about that. But I think that would be a fun little challenge for June. Just try to learn something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sashiko is the kind of thing that I think looks so gorgeous, but it's so deceivingly simple, in a way, really.
Yeah.
Because it's only a running stitch. Oh, I can hear the thunder here now as well. But it's only a running stitch. It's geometrical patterns, and you would think that that's easy. But having the same length of stitch everywhere and like being consistent in your tension and everything really is just deceivingly simple.
Yeah,
and
for sure. That's what I think with embroidery as well.
Yes, I completely agree. I find that cross stitch in that sense is more fun for me because it's less manual precision and more, it can be automated in a way.
Yeah, it's more. It's more.
On autopilot.
It's not quite color by numbers, but it's a little bit color by numbers. It's a little bit Lego, a little bit color by numbers, a little bit mining in a straight line in Minecraft, as we like to say.
Yes.
Whereas
and
embroidery is...
it was really funny because that is kind of what convinced me to try cross stitch in the first place. DH was like, well, do you enjoy mining in a straight line in Minecraft? And I was like, yeah, when I play Minecraft, mining is the only thing I actually enjoy. And they were like, then you will love cross stitch. And I tried it, and I've never looked back.
Exactly. I'm not wrong.
No, you're very right.
Oh. Guys, look how many I have to count. I have to go from down here to over here. That's so many.
I made a mistake, so I had to frog a few stitches.
Oh no. I made a
Like
frog,
2.
so I had to mistake a few stitches. Sorry, that was awful.
No, I liked it.
I apologize.
Torinatrix says, I think that's why I'm struggling with this embroidery so much. It requires slightly more brain power than cross stitch. Yeah, I find that just... I don't know how embroidery patterns are, to be honest. I was looking for the floss, it was on my shirt. But I can only imagine then, especially for filling stitches, you don't have a clear printed of start your floss there and your floss there. You know, you just probably have the shape, and you need to fill it. So the finish is kind of up to your skill, which I find very intimidating.
Yeah.
Very daunting.
Toot says, well, I'm counting to 17. She says 8675309. Thank you for that. And Turner Trick says, you got this. I believe in you. Thank you. But yeah, I have done embroidery before, like very simple embroidery, where I've taken a piece of very thin paper, drawn a design on it, and then pinned that to a piece of fabric and stitched over it with like a running back stitch. But again, that was tracing something on a paper. If I'm just like freehanding it, I do not know how that would go.
Yeah. Torinatrix says, I mean, I'm just tracing doodles, but I have to choose where to put the needle. Each stitch can be completely different length. And that's exactly what I mean. Like, I think if you're making your own design, even more, but if you had a pattern or printed anything, you know, you would probably have the shape, like a triangle and whatnot, but then there wouldn't be like dots where to put your needle. Would be up to you choosing where you put it in and where you... So that's a bit too much for me.
So I personally am gonna get wrapped up in about 10 minutes here. I don't know, Moon, were you planning on continuing to stream, or were you...
I will wrap up as well. Okay. I think it will be nice if we do a double raid. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that'll be fun.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get these last few stitches over here done. He looks kind of like a corvid. I'm seeing more bird right now than frog.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing earlier.
Yeah. Like, because I know this is going to be like filled in, and that's going to be like more of his mouth, and this is his eye, and then this is a plant on the side. But it definitely looks more bird-like at the moment with just this color done. So we'll get a few more colors in there and see.
Which is funny because because they also have a pattern called Dr. Crow.
Yes, I have that one lined up. I'm going to do Detective Todeschi and Dr. Crow, and Toot's going to do Dilo Shade, and we're going to have like a little series of portraits because they're all the same style and the same size.
That sounds perfect. Tonk says, I have an embroidery pattern for OMFD headshots / bust, and I've been terrified to start. I know nothing. What is OMFD? If you wouldn't mind.
Turner Trick says, I friggin' love Dr. Crow. Yeah.
Yeah, they say the same thing. It is amazing. Oh, our flag means death. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a queer pirate show. I had watched the beginning of it with Tonks at a time.
Yes.
In the very distant past. But it was very good.
Yes, I've heard good things. Trick says, I saw it for the first time yesterday and I died, Dr. Crow. Yeah, Mama Witch is just so good.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah. And Raven Stitchcraft, I fell into a deep rabbit hole on their website today. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. We love the witchy stuff here, if you guys couldn't tell.
And I can't remember if I shared the link in my server, but Raven Stitchcraft had a great freebie for June. So I will share the link to that. Vampaza says, gotta go. Have a great night. Have a great night, Vampaza. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yes, have a good night, Vampaza.
Super appreciate you.
I can hear the rain pouring against my window outside now.
Oh no.
Oh yes. Yeah, I think Tooth said earlier that like it's almost like the storm just missed you guys.
Yeah, we're going like there's like two arms of the storm and we're right in between them.
That's
so I don't think
annoying.
we're actually going to get any storm. I think we might just get like effects of storm. But I've got my I've got Spirit City going, so I've got like a crackling fireplace right now. That's
so
my
cozy.
vibe.
I think that's I was gonna say that's the first big storm of the summer, I think, but I did have another one, I think it was 2 weeks ago. The thunderclap was so loud it actually not only woke me up, but it startled Yuna as well.
Oh,
like we were both sleeping in bed, and I suddenly just hear like a huge and Yuna was like jumped up in bed, and I was startled awake.
So this is how far I got tonight. You can see I'm just working on the first color, the 738. And this is what the pattern is going to look like. There he is in all of his froggy glory. So you can see what I mean when I say that it's not...
It's very dense.
Yeah. It's not full coverage because it doesn't go all the way to the edges of the fabric, but within the oval, it's full coverage. So, yeah. And it's got a moon on it, and the background is blue.
Oh yeah, I'm in there.
So,
yeah. This is how far I have gone, which doesn't seem like much at all, but we only had 20 stitches, and my tracker says that we stitched 94 stitches, which for outline is not too bad, because it does require some counting.
Outline, I'm just going to switch over so my chat can see. Yeah, because outline is the most difficult, but I like doing the outlines because then you can just like fill in the middle and you can just zone out. So that's
we did the little ear over here on the left, and I'm working towards the wing right now at the bottom here.
Yeah, that's so cute. I love her. Him, them. All right. Well, Moon, I'm going to hop off call and wrap up my stream. I will see you in a few minutes, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
all right, everyone in DHS chat, have an amazing night.
And everyone in Moon's chat, have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, now it's just us. So thank you guys so much for joining myself and Moon. This was so much fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. I know we had a bit of a scrambly start, but you know, we're professionals. This is what we do. Toot is putting up a bunch of links for you to go check out. You can check us out on the Discord server, where you will get all kinds of updates, announcements. We have a fantastic little community going there. You can check me out if you're watching this on Twitch. Go over and check us out on YouTube for the replays and the videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can come join the conversation live on Twitch. And definitely please go check out the coffee shop, which I have just set up. So coffee is the best way to support the stream, as well as, of course, liking, following, subscribing, telling your friends about us, and all of that good stuff. Orchid says good for progress. Yes, I made such good progress tonight. So I want everybody who is on Twitch to say goodbye to everybody on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. We're going to end the stream on YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Bye. Oh, I forgot to do my outro. YouTube, my lovely friends on YouTube. I will see you in the Discord. I'll see you on Twitch. I will see you in the live streams. But as always, I will see you in my heart. All right. Bye, guys. Oh no, Moon lost power. Okay.